Hey guys, how y'all doing? It's me, Johnny, and welcome to the first video of today. Today we're going to upload two because we have a huge reward coming in. Knowing Sorare themselves, it will probably take up until like 6, 7 p.m. tonight. So there will be plenty of time for you to wait for that one. But guys, today is a great day. I feel like I have been, just confirmed in terms of like the strategy changed, the changes that I've brought in. It seems like things have worked out, and specializing into one area specifically has done us really well. Why am I saying that? Well, let me show you. By the way, do you even say, I feel like I've been, like, my strategy has been confirmed? That's not how you say it, is it? Sorry, guys. English is not my first language. I'm trying my best out here. But let's go into this. Is it like vindicated? Is that the word for it? I feel vindicated because my strategy has worked. Is vindicated even the word I'm looking for? Vindicated German. Sorry, guys. Bestätigt. Yes. Hey, I actually can speak English. Okay, I feel vindicated. Let's go ahead into this, guys. We have seen in game week 306, we have had a couple of teams lined up. As you guys know, this one was a throwaway. I knew certain players could do well. I was fully aware of it. And some of them did. Kökçü got a decisive, scored a banging goal, which I was very happy to see. He's getting decisives upon decisives lately. Odgaard, as I mentioned in the last video, by the way, I did listen back to the video where I put together the teams, and my thought process was on point. I mean, now, after everything has finished, obviously I can come here and say, everything has been on point. Everything I mentioned was just about perfect. And it actually worked out that way. So we had Kavlina against Zagreb. He has done really well. Very happy with the fact that he only conceded 2. Got himself decent AA because obviously he had to save a lot of things in this matchup. And 52 points for the goalkeeper that we have. I'm very confident that I'll be able to sell that guy on for over 1 ETH at some point. I am going to hold on to him for now for the All-Star Rare team to get ourselves some ETH. Then Sanuc did start for Beşiktaş, did look good in my opinion. I was very happy with how he played. Obviously, they conceded goals, which wasn't ideal, but he looked like a player that will fit in very well into Beşiktaş. But he got injured. He was feeling like after a battle in the air, he was feeling dizzy, and he basically just was sat there like looking a bit shocked. So I don't know what happened. But I mean, I've seen it, but I don't actually know what happened inside of his head. But he seemed a bit dizzy from what I've read. And yeah, he was taken out of the game, hence why he only got 27 points. Having said that, though, Beşiktaş drew 2-2. We will talk about that later on in a different lineup. Kökçü and Feyenoord were up against PSV Eindhoven. I did put my money on PSV Eindhoven to do better, and they did. They won the game 4-3. Szymanski, as I mentioned in the video, came off the bench, which was great to see. So that means once the games are back, he's going to be fit and ready to play. Also could possibly play for the Polish national team, which he has been called up into. And Odgaard, as I did mention, he was a player that did go ahead and get a goal, the winning goal against Ajax. I did say that last time for Waalwijk, he got 2 decisives against Ajax. It was 2 assists. This time, he got a goal against Ajax and made sure that his team continued their winning streak, which is great to see. Alkmaar 2-1, Odgaard, ridiculous scores lately. He seems to be one of the more consistent, one of the better under 23 strikers, one of the more informed ones at the moment, as we can see here by his stats. So that team got us the higher threshold, 255 points, which was exactly what I was looking for. I wasn't looking for a reward here because there were too many question marks surrounding this team. But under 23, rare. We are looking at Muric coming in with 50 points. Harwood Bellis did get himself a 95-point game. He has been on fire since we picked him up. And this is how you want things to go. You can see right here, I picked him up right around this score, 79, 95 straight after. Got ourselves 2 rewards back-to-back, I believe now, which is lovely. And as I did mention, I put my money on PSV Eindhoven. Xavi Simons got himself an assist. AA game was a little bit of a trouble. Most of the time, he was up against Trauner. who's a great defender and bit physical. So he had a little bit of a hard time, but he did get himself the assist, which got him the 60 points that I was looking for. And with a captaincy bonus, obviously that goes up to like 70 something. Palacios, by the way, hey, this guy's becoming a very reliable, very, very good player, especially in good matchups. He seems to be getting really good scores. This is 77 for a fullback without a decisive, which is amazing to see. Very happy that he got it. If he didn't get that 77, I wouldn't be within the rewards. He was the last man to play, and he did really well. Muleka only 42. That was a bit disappointing. I did watch the Besiktas game. They played the game over the left-hand side all the time where Nkudu plays. And on the right, Rosier and Muleka did the link-up just ain't there at the moment, which is really worrying because it feels like Rosier just didn't want to pass it into him because he doesn't like him or something. Like, that's how I legit felt at that time, because he was making great runs, just not getting the passes. But Nkudu was getting every single pass, which really pissed me off. But, guys, we are currently, when we look at the leaderboards, 12th in the under 23 pro. I was 14th and all that stuff. I did have 401 points, but then we got a score correction, which was due because, in my opinion, Saliba had an amazing game. And as I was watching the game, they did not score him correctly. Many, many times I've seen that they just didn't give him a tackle. He even had something that you could call a last man tackle. Okay, you don't give him the last man tackle, but at least give the boy his tackle. So it was a really weird situation. So he didn't have these amounts of points before, but then he got corrected up to 100. Obviously scored the first goal for Arsenal, which made me extremely happy because I did have Osako Nakamura doing well on the first couple of days. Getson Fernandez did get his decisive, an assist for him in the Besiktas matchup. He failed like 5 times, should have 100% gotten a yellow card. I don't know how he circumvented that, but we are very happy to see that Getson is getting involved into the attacks. It is very lovely to see, especially with Souza back into the Besiktas team to play alongside him. He is the perfect player to kind of carry the ball forward while Souza sits back and defends. That is exactly what I want for Getson to happen, because he does have the technical ability to make things happen. But then again, as I mentioned before, Muleka, huge disappointment, sadly, this game week, especially against an opponent like this. Besiktas struggled for no reason, in my opinion. Having said that, though, Istanbulspor did quite well. Congratulations to them for picking up a draw against one of the stronger lineups out there. Weghorst did score again. He's looking very good for Besiktas, I will have to say. And also, I do feel like Redmond is a good addition into this Besiktas team. So I am a bit worried because Gezal is supposed to come back for Besiktas, and he plays technically in a position that Muleka plays in. And yeah, it's not ideal. But at the moment, I'm still holding on to Muleka. I've not made my choice or my decision in terms of like, do I want to move him on? Do I think he's going to be great off the bench? I honestly think he's going to be very good off the bench. I might not keep the rare, but I might keep the super rare. That's the type of situation we're looking at here. Because I think even as a substitute, if he gets 30 minutes, I think Muleka could do a lot of damage and work his way straight back into the starting 11 if he was to be dropped, which I don't personally think is going to happen yet. But the next game is going to show us a lot. If he starts after the international break, well, that kind of confirms Muleka is a set starter. I am really hoping to see that Nkudu gets dropped and Muleka stays in the starting lineup. That is the thing that really gives me hope. So we'll see what happens there. So, yeah, that's the situation. But that gets us a star rare. Yes, we get ourselves a star rare, and it's going to be the bottom one, or one of the 2 on the bottom. I checked previous game weeks on weekends and looked at who the under 23 pro person got that finished in the same spot that I finished in, which is the lowest position to get a star rare. And basically 80% of them got legit the bottom player, right? And then like 20% got the one right above. Now, I wouldn't mind getting any of these. I personally would love to get Kenneth Taylor, who is at the bottom, because I think getting some exposure to Ajax is always a great thing. Having said that, he also has under 23 until 2026, which excites me because he gets great scores, very consistent, decisive, capable, does move into the attack, does get his chances to score, does create chances as well. This is the type of player you want to have in your club. This is a guy worth around 1 ETH, actually more than 1 ETH at this stage. I would love to add this guy into my gallery, especially add him into the trophy cabinet, which we are building at the moment. So this one really has me excited. I really hope I get him. If I don't get him and I end up getting Oddguard, I gotta say, I don't mind. I know I have Oddguard already, but I genuinely would just go on and sell the one that I bought here for 1 ETH. I could probably sell for more than what I bought him for, because his floor is quite high right now after these performances, after especially scoring against Ajax and AZ having a run of really good games right here, apart from maybe the final one, which probably will end up like 3-3 or something. But I would love to have a first owner Oddguard who I will add into my trophy cabinet and will be one of my better players, especially when it comes to the attacking positions. He is going to be my #1 choice from now on because, you know, the Muleka situation, we just don't know. We'll see confirmation after. But generally speaking, I'm very excited about one of these two. I'm desperately hoping I can avoid Sheshko. Like, if I was to get the third guy from the bottom here, that would be unprecedented. I have not seen that in the past like 10 game weeks when it comes to weekends. But apparently, a couple of people who finished last midweek did get a bunch of players that were not these last two, but higher up. That's a weird one. So technically speaking, if you finish first midweeks, you don't get anyone from the top. But if you finish at the bottom of the star rare tier, you can get better than the players that get like last in star rare, who then get these players rather than anyone higher. I mean, I was mentioning on the Discord and stuff, Koundé would be the dream. I mean, having exposure to Barca with their current form, especially with Koundé's current form, would be amazing. But, you know, it's just not going to happen. I don't expect that really. But I am very excited about the prospect of Kenneth Taylor. The thing is, he only has 8 cards left and Oddguard has 14. So I feel like I'm going to get Oddguard. But even if I do get Oddguard, I'll probably sell him on and get myself someone like a Kenneth Taylor. Or I'm actually really interested in Enzo. I really, really am, because I love his consistency. I mean, if you can have a player in your team that guarantees you 60 plus every single game without a decisive, and he actually had a really, really good attempted assist in the game as well. He actually had 2 there, but I did watch the highlights. The guy should have easily scored. And once this guy starts getting decisive, he's like getting 80 plus every single game. Like, that's something I like. And he has under 23 until 2025. He is just absolute quality. So if I do get Oddguard and not Taylor as a first owner, I might stay away from Taylor because, as you guys know, I do have a bunch of really good midfielders at the moment. I'm very happy with Nakamura, Simmons, Kökçü, Fernandez, Nunez, Szymanski, even Fofana, who has been called up into the national team now, which is quite interesting. So I'm going to keep a hold of him. I am very happy with my midfielders, and ideally, I need to work my way into forwards. And having said that, buying Enzo sounds a bit stupid. So instead of going ahead and buying Enzo, technically speaking, I genuinely should just buy a Jota. That should be my target. Someone got him for 4K yesterday. Wow. That's a bit low, huh? That is a bit low. That's the dream right there. The guy's done really well, below 3 ETH. Congratulations. But here's the reason as to why I'm more interested in Jota than Gakpo when it comes to top end. I'm fully aware that Gakpo is very much more capable to hit hundreds. But my issue with Gakpo is he is very, very likely to leave PSV very soon. Even in January, I think it is going to be quite interesting to see what happens there. He's going to be playing for Netherlands in the World Cup if he makes it into the starting 11 and shows performances half as decent as he shows for PSV. He's gone in January, in my opinion. So I'm a bit worried with that. With Jota, what I like is, like, actually, let's talk about Gakpo. If Gakpo gets a move, it's into a top 5 league, into Premier League, most likely, because that has been the league that he has seeming to be interested in, and the league that has been mostly interested in him as well. If Jota comes into the club here for me, he is someone that, yes, loses on a 23 utility by the end of this year, just like Gakpo, but I don't think he gets a move after this season because he just basically signed fully for Celtic up until 2027. They can ask for huge money for him, and I don't necessarily think they have to let this guy go. So I'm thinking the chances of Jota becoming a very, very good, one of the best challenger options after his under 23 expires are way higher than when Gakpo goes over to the Premier League, and then his scores are just not going to be able to compete with the likes of Jota, in my opinion. So I am thinking I'm going to go ahead and get myself Jota possibly, or I am very much interested in the likes of Skov Olsen as well as a little bit of a cheaper option. I like Skov Olsen and what Bruges are doing, and I also like Jotgla. The only thing I don't like about Jotgla is the fact that he is currently one of the players that only has utility until 2023, and I personally genuinely believe he's not going to be at Bruges for too long. This guy is just too good of a striker, and there aren't that many young, amazing strikers out there that are performing this consistently. I do think he's going to get a move, like a all-out number 9 type of situation. There aren't that many, and every single club out there seems to be going after them at the moment. So I think Jutgla, even though he might be a great player for now, is a little bit of a risk for me personally to go into. So ideally, I want someone that has some decent AA game as well, which Jutgla is capable of. It's not bad, right? We have some decent AA game right here in these games where he's doing really well. But I think Skov Olsen, in terms of like AA game, is probably a better option. If we look at this, 26 points AA, 61.8 right here in a game where they lost 3-0. That is exactly what I'm kind of looking for. Odgaard is capable of that as well. But yeah, I am trying to work my way into either one of these strikers, or I actually really still want Enzo. I don't know what it is with Enzo. His price has come down big time when we compare it to how things have been going lately. Like, he was selling up to 5.5k, and now he's come down to around 3.2, and there's no reason. Like, there's legit no reason. Just because he's getting 60s. What is this? I feel like he's very undervalued. That's why I'm very interested in getting him to club. That's basically the reason why I'm thinking about this one specifically, guys. So just so you are aware. I mean, in terms of ETH, how's it looking there as well? Like, in terms of ETH, we were looking at up to 3.5 ETH, and he just now sold for 2.44. I don't think he's going to go way lower than that. I think he's a very consistent player. And if you have a player in your team that you can bank on getting 60 with the upside of hitting those 80s and stuff, why would you not get that guy into their team? So yeah, we'll see what happens. If I do get Kenneth Taylor, the idea of Enzo dies. So just a heads up, because then we have a midfielder in a very, very good team capable of hitting those high scores. So Enzo becomes kind of nonsense since we do have that many midfielders. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how things are going right now, guys. Very, very satisfied. We are picking up technically 3 rewards this week with 3 teams. Star Rare from Under 23 Pro, Threshold from All-Star, the higher threshold, and a Tier 3 Rare, which should be a bit of a decent one because the Tier 3 pool does go down to 295th, and we are definitely in the upper half. So I'm excited about that one as well. Could be a good player to use for Underdog. Guys, that is it for me for now. I will be back later on once again. Thank you guys so much for the comments on previous videos where you guys have basically been saying, hey, you know what? I feel like now you've kind of settled into your strategy. Good luck and all that. I appreciate you all. Seems like things have worked out into our favor. And once Solé is back from his injury, and once we have the capability of using players like Guindo as well, our gallery is looking even stronger moving forward. So we can play the matchup game. The dream that I had, guys, that I'm working towards is happening. I want 2 players from each of the big teams out there. So as you guys do know, I do have the combination of Kökçü and Szymanski for Feyenoord. I do have Getson Fernandez and Muleka for Beşiktaş. I do have Solé. I do want one more under 23 Salzburg player to come in. Ideally, Fernando is the option that I would love to get into the club. I think he's very, very good for Salzburg. So that could be one, actually. Instead of spending so much, I could easily go for Fernando, which just makes sense because his scores are really good and consistent. And if you have a striker that can bring you consistent 60 plus, then you can focus on those midfielders that bring you those super high scores along with the defenders, and you're in for a good reward. But if we look at his price graph here, or auctions and offers, you can see that his forward card does sell for more. It's basically 1 ETH right here, I'm assuming. Is that 1 ETH? What is that? Oh, it's actually below 1 ETH at the moment. But yeah, I really do want to bring in a Fernando into the club. If anything, I would buy the one with the 9.5%. But yeah, I do want to bring in another Salzburg player into the club. Then we have Muric and Taylor Harwood-Bellis, one of the stronger, decent sides in the championship. So that's a good one. We also have Sanuc, who is another Besiktas player. We have Guindo, where I won't be able to get another player from his club, even though they do have, what's his name? Fun something. Hold on, let me find this guy. This video just got longer, even though I wanted to just finish it. But hey, let's go into it. They do have this guy, Julian Famos, sorry. He is somewhat quality. I mean, he does have good games. He did have some bad games lately, it seems like. DMP right here. I don't know what the issue is with this kid, but could be an interesting option as well to pair up with Guindo at some point if I do really like their matchups. And then Xavi Simons from PSV is the first player that I got off PSV. Ideally, I would like to bring in another one here. We'll see who that is going to end up being, a defender or an attacker or a midfielder. I don't know yet, but yeah, that's the thing. I really want to work my way into pairings of 2 when it comes to the under 23. So every single week, then we look at a gallery that has, let's say, 6 to 7 pairings, and whichever of those pairings has the best matchup combined with the second best just goes into a team. And I think that is going to be a very, very successful tactic. And yeah, it is working. So guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you later on with the Star Rare. Have a good one. Take care. Peace.